Say the flame to shout, make America great, tell them what it's about. Facts over feelings, cutting through the noise, fighting woke mobs and the kids with toys. They spew their lies, they spreading hate. Let's BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truce to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night.
Hey, it's To The Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Hey, I'm your boy Leo. We got Mike and we got Vince.
What's up,
Welcome, guys, back to our own little house here, little shop, little whatever we want to call it.
Back court.
But you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, Vince. We still get our word out there. So thank you guys for tuning in again to episode 105.
Yeah, 105.
Crazy.
I don't even know what the date is, but I know the Super Bowl was last weekend.
February 11th.
And Valentine's Day is what, Friday?
Yep.
Friday.
Is it Friday?
Yeah, it is Friday.
Are you
Crazy,
ready
huh?
for
It just
Valentine's Day? Do
goes
you
by
partake
crazy,
in the
you know?
Valentine's Day?
You know, it's crazy. It's already Valentine's Day. It's just time flies.
I think next weekend's the Daytona 500. If not, it's the one after. I can't remember.
It didn't take long to get shouted out. Well, yes, we are using a 3-camera setup, which usually I still have, and we use a different software to bounce back and forth, but I'm trying to use less steps in our workflow. But yeah, what's up? Thank you. The Deus is Q-Tip or the Truthful Troll on X. Make sure you give him a follow.
It's the only way I could be here today because I'm in Hawaii right now.
No.
Mike's in Italy and
No, things
Leo.
get complicated and it's different every week. So
Where am I
it's
at,
like,
Mike? Where am I at?
where are you at?
Where are you?
I'm in Mexico.
No,
I was gonna say Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got the bus. He didn't even
Yeah, I
get the
messed up.
flight.
That's all right. No, but listen, anyways,
Sorry, that's not fun.
we're all here in the state of Florida. Am I right?
Yeah.
We're in the Sunshine State. We are actually in the east coast of the state of Florida, probably like an hour away from Orlando.
Yeah,
Right? We're in a little
bit
town called it's called Indian River County. That's where we're known. Vero Beach, I think, is probably where people would know that we're at. Actually, it's called the Treasure Coast, but it's called the Treasure Coast because a lot of ships were actually crash here during like the wars or whatever. They're hiding gold and stuff like that, and a lot of ships wrecked here. That's what it's called, I guess, the Treasure Coast.
Yeah, you used to be able to see one off the coast of Florida.
Well, there's the
I don't think
1715.
you can see it anymore.
The 1715 fleet was a fleet of Spanish galleons and then a couple of other ships with different nationalities, but a lot of treasure sunk in a hurricane in 1715.
Yeah.
Only 2 got away, and 1 is still missing, the Hampton Bay, I believe,
Why does mine
which
say
is
Mike is muted on that one screen.
because it's
Okay.
we're not using the mic over there. Yeah, the Hampton Bay supposedly was loaded down with emeralds and
How about
stuff
at the
like
bottom
that,
it
but
says unmute.
because it's not your
No,
audio.
it's
okay.
separate.
You guys don't pay much attention to it.
No, well, because it's
Yeah.
usually the
It's a new setup. We're all a little confused at Mike because he's the one that sets it up.
Yeah.
Mike is our producer.
I've already gave them the rundown. They just, anyways, episode
You talk
105,
to me for more than 20 seconds straight, I lose.
February 11th. The shit hasn't stopped rolling downhill when it comes to Trump in the headlines. USAID has been blown out of the water with the nonsense they're putting out there. The
Right.
Department of Education, they're starting to nail down on the Department of Education. I heard almost 60,000 government employees now have accepted the layout or the payout. And
It's
these
like
are
a
positions that
severance.
were just like,
Right.
remote positions that couldn't report to an office, couldn't really justify their job. And
Just simply a waste of our taxpayers' money. Speaking of Trump, he was the first sitting president to ever attend the Super Bowl this weekend.
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
I caught
That's
a little
crazy.
bit.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
that.
They usually do an interview before. And
Yeah,
who
but
are
they're-
you talking to, Leo?
I'm just laughing at Trump. The stupid shit he does is just like,
Well, I mean, these are national pastimes. Why not?
Yeah,
I know.
Presidents have gone to baseball games.
I know,
What's the
but I'm just
difference?
saying, like, it's just He was just there for how long?
He was there to troll Taylor
Yeah.
Swift.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like it's
People
just
are
like,
already
for
saying
what,
next
dude?
year
Like,
it's going to be
like,
called the
just-
American Bowl now or
Yeah.
something.
Well, I mean, he did just sign the paperwork to make the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
While he was flying over.
Yes, that was
Stupid.
awesome.
Stupid.
I mean, but hey, though, isn't that what makes you proud? Though, like
Yeah.
America didn't become great by giving in
and
to
being a pushover.
Yes,
Mike, you didn't listen to yourself.
no, I did
Stupid,
not.
man. It's just
Yeah,
he's wasting my money is what he's doing, Mike. No, but it's just
What?
yes.
yeah.
But
It's just
you
crazy.
know how much
Whatever. It
money
is
they're
what it is.
saving right now on
Hey,
getting
listen,
rid of
were
all
you
this
guys-
waste and
listen,
trim.
were you guys listening to the little speech they were just saying just before we went on live, like with Elon Musk and Trump and stuff like that?
no, which
Well,
one?
No, what are you talking about?
Something about they were saving money or where they're going to cut, or they're cutting all this money from, and
Yeah,
Talking about
but-
Doge.
well,
What Doge is doing?
Doge
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
its own spot on the national debt clock now of how much
Right.
money they've already cut. I'm not sure what the latest number is, but the more they go in and like that's what I'm saying, like 60,000 employees have taken a payout, which supposedly was a healthy payout, like,
right,
and it was better for them, you know, and like
Right.
in most of their positions really weren't
Justifiable.
justifiable anyways. We have a comment here from Dale, Two Guys One Coop. They're gonna get with us on some details for Warrior Weekend, and 150-year-old still on Social Security. Yeah. So, what do you think about that? Do you think Do you think Trump has the authority to send Elon into these departments to look for wasteful spending? I mean, he's not doing anything himself. It's not like Elon's going in there and saying, "I'm shutting it down now."
Absolutely.
He reports to the president. The president
Yeah, he absolutely
gives
he's got the
direction.
right to. And I've heard people say, well, nobody elected Elon Musk. Well, nobody elected
Yes, I feel
Hunter
we did.
Biden.
Yeah.
Nobody elected some of the other people that Joe Biden appointed over things. That's normal. Every
Right.
president does that.
right. See, I mean, I don't know that he hired him. Okay, it's just somebody he hired. Who cares?
Right.
It is what it is. I hired you, and this is what I want you to do. I need you to go to every department, and I want you to look at their paperwork of what they're spending the money on, and then stuff. Do you think is useful? Question them.
Yeah.
Ask them questions. Hey, what is this for? What is that for? Oh,
And-
well, this is, and then just report it back.
Quite frankly,
And then just report it back to the president. Say, hey, look, this is what I found here. This is what I found here. That's up to you. What do you want to do? That's up to
Musk
you.
is considered, one of our modern day geniuses, and I'm perfectly fine with a president using somebody that's smarter than all of us to try to figure out where
Yeah,
money's
right.
being wasted. And,
And
stuff.
that's
So,
what that's
Well, he's
right.
autistic too, isn't he?
I didn't elect
Or
the
he's-
IRS agents either. Thank God they didn't get those 80,000. What was it? 80,000 IRS agents they were preparing to hire and arm for what? Hopefully they didn't get any of them on the books yet, or armed. But yeah, Trump's rhetoric about ending the IRS and bringing in the ERS, External Revenue
external
Service.
revenue service.
If you think about it, we're living in a lie. You don't own anything. You're taxed to death.
you're renting
Right.
anything. You might have the deed shows that you paid for it,
Yeah.
but you're still paying for it every year.
Yeah.
And of course they're going to blame them. That they're blaming them for the egg shortage and all that. And
Who they blaming?
Yeah,
we both work, and we all
the
work in
bird
kind of like
flu and all that's
food
Trump's fault.
logistics and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but who they blaming that?
They're
They're
blaming,
blaming
Trump.
Trump.
They're
Here's-
they're
well,
saying he's the reason why
yeah.
there's a shortage and why the prices have gone up on eggs. And
I have a short video.
quite frankly, these are just
Yeah.
people need to do their research and educate themselves. This was going on before he took office.
Here's our new press secretary.
Christian Day Talk.
Thanks, Caroline. Just real quick, you mentioned the inflation executive order the president signed, but egg prices have skyrocketed since President Trump took office. So what specifically is he doing to lower those costs for Americans?
Really glad you brought this up because there is a lot of reporting out there that is putting the onus on this White House for the increased cost of eggs. I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country. We also have seen the cost of everything, not just eggs. Bacon, groceries, gasoline have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration. As far as the egg shortage, what's also contributing to that is that the Biden administration and the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 100 million chickens, which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country, therefore a lack of egg supply, which is leading to the shortage.
Thank you. Yep. Muted. Yeah. 3 weeks in office and not, I mean, most of these chickens were slaughtered months ago.
Right.
You know, they probably, this bird flu was brought in months ago, maybe not brought in, but you know, it started wreaking havoc in
Right.
California again.
And
Places that are mismanaged with
prices-
their livestock. And their
prices on that
property.
stuff's been going up for years since Biden's been in office. That's not
and this and listen, and this is another reason why I say that this man does this shit for his country. If he knows that none of this shit has to do with him, and he's gonna get blamed for, and he's gonna get blamed for this, and he's gonna get blamed for that, lose money, and then this man's still out there. I wonder if he's all right. Wonder if he's all right.
He's still doing his thing, Leo. You know,
I'd call it quits as soon as that thing passed by through my ear.
Right? Isn't
Oh,
he?
yeah.
Well,
That's crazy.
He
That
said
is
it.
crazy.
He said it in that interview with, I think it was Greg Jarrett.
Done.
You know, he doesn't have to do this,
right.
but after all these years, at this point in his life, he can only do so much good, but he can do so much more good as president of the United States. So that's why it was important he finished out his, you know, his 4 years. You know, that was robbed from him
right.
4 years ago.
And some of it too, I think it's just, you know, he's a
So,
proud
okay, I see.
man, you know, so he's, you know, he's like, I'm gonna be damned if y'all gonna just chase me away from this. I said I'm gonna do it, and you're not gonna
Right.
stop me. You know, I
And-
think he's just got that kind of mentality, and I think that's something that a lot of people respect in him.
I've got
He's not
a lot
queer.
more Trump like queued up. Did you have something to say on that before I want to play?
No,
Or
you guys
I
just
wanna-
don't know.
I
just
want to
don't
go
care
to
about-
our ad. I
don't
got
like him. Just whatever.
2 ads to play tonight.
Fucking stand his ass.
Our network sponsor, who joined our network and is supporting us, they're American-made shopping platform. They've got the subscription. They got the coffee, the
stuff that
coffee,
we. Oh
the
yeah, for
American-made stuff. It's Shop with
Definitely.
America.
Anything
I'm
that
gonna
you
get
want,
it.
you know,
I'm gonna
think-
get it wrong. But let
they-
me play the
They
ad
got
before I
shirts
screw
and
it
stuff
up.
like that
American-made
that
and
says
organic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, here, let's play them.
Welcome to Shop with America, where the emphasis is on America. Our movement is to switch away from your shopping with the big box stores and the mega corporations back to supporting family-owned, made in America. We've been giving these big box stores our money every day for years. But what's happened is they forced many small businesses to shut down. We call this the illusion of choice. We see all these products in these stores, but in reality, it's only a few companies that control it all. There are thousands of lawsuits for health damage because they put profit over our people. But there is another choice. We found a better way. There's a family-owned American factory with product integrity and have always done things the right way for the right reasons. And this company outperforms the big box stores. That's due to their month-to-month shopping club. They make everyday consumer products that we all use and buy again and again, like toothpaste, shampoo, coffee, and organic beef. Go to shopwithamerica.us today.
Yeah, shopwithamerica.us. If you do your business on Amazon and you take advantage of that, subscribe and stuff like that, Walmart, and you know, this is a good opportunity or an outlet if you're looking for American made stuff. Check them out and make sure you tell them you saw the ad on the Patriot Prayer Network. They're great supporters of the idea of what we're doing here and what Eddie and Maurice put together here with a great lineup of patriots. So make sure you follow the Patriot Prayer.
Right.
Um,
And supporting American
on
made,
X and Rumble and all that. Yeah.
you know, supporting American made is just, you know, a big part of keeping jobs here in America, not putting the jobs out for, you know, Chinese workers to get our jobs and get paid. It's so, you know, it's part of building America back stronger again and keeping the money in house.
Yeah, for sure. It's I gotta fix one of these videos in here. I thought we had our ad for the Warrior Shield Foundation. Make sure you follow them too. We're gonna play that ad a little bit later, but yeah. So back to Trump and his rhetoric. I mean,
So he showed up at the Super Bowl, right?
yeah.
Right.
What happened?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
He was
Yeah.
applauded and
Yeah.
cheered, and at
Taylor
one
Swift
point Taylor Swift towards
was
the end of the
booed.
game, I guess, was booed pretty
Yeah.
good, and she was kind of looked like she was a little surprised about it. She looks at like the Megatron and realizes the camera's on her, and she kind of smiles a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't read too much into that because
Whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
so supposedly I heard a little backstory on it. I didn't know this, but she's from Philadelphia and she's rooting for the Chiefs, obviously because she's dating one of the Chief players. So
I'm the guy who's like, everybody assumed the Chiefs were gonna win because pretty boy this and pretty girl this and you know Mahomes this, and I don't know jack shit about football. I'm sure Dale and Jim are probably biting their tongue off, but you know, they were favorited, and sometimes I don't
Right.
really care for that. So you know, it's
So
whatever.
I'm guessing you guys didn't watch the halftime.
No, I didn't watch it. I saw a little bit of
watched
that.
some of it, but it was
uh,
pretty bad.
What's his name?
I didn't like it.
Lamar. Or,
Kendrick Lamar.
yeah, I
Right.
saw a little bit. I don't know who these people are, so I can't
Well,
really.
part of it, yeah, Kendrick Lamar or whatever. So he was like the only one for the whole show. And one of the things they've always done in the past, you have a headliner, but there's usually other artists that join in,
Well, they
and there's a
had one.
mixture of music.
Yeah, they had one female. I can't remember
Okay.
what her name was.
Yeah, and this
But
was
still,
this
I
was
mean,
a Jay-Z
Lizzo or
production,
something.
wasn't it?
I don't know. For
I'm
sure.
pretty sure
I don't
this
know.
was
I think so.
Yeah.
Because he threw a lot of shade to the Sony production.
Yeah. See,
So-
I don't know. I just know it came
So-
up when with the P Diddy and the
Right.
Jay-Z thing and the
So
Beyonce.
I'll break it down
I'll break it down,
I'll break
yeah.
it down just a little bit, like on two different views of, because you know how people
Yeah.
like view it two different ways, or three
Mhm.
or four or five different ways,
Right.
right? Some people are saying that Kendrick Lamar was throwing some shade on Drake on one of the songs about them beefing, going back and
I
forth,
heard something about that.
right?
yeah.
And then the whole like Sony owns, or Sony or Drake has is, or Sony is run by Drake, or Drake is run by Sony, something like that, you know, like
he's probably
he's
their
the-
main stakeholder,
he's the
or
their production,
Yeah,
he's
crop,
the product,
cream of the crop.
right. So Sony produces all his stuff or whatever it does, right? But Sony also has PlayStation, right?
Right.
And the PlayStation has the little X, the 0, the square, and the triangle, right?
Okay. The controller button.
The controller button. So those came up on the show as well too, right?
Okay.
So he's trying to beefing that he's not being controlled like Drake is being controlled. That all he is just a game,
Oh, that Sony controls Jake,
right?
Drake.
Right. So they
Kind
would
of
beef-
like you know, some of them places that take sponsors that try
right.
to
So then he
Right.
turns around on his song while
yeah.
he's dancing and says, "Hey Drake," say, "Hey Drake," and then I guess they had some beefing going on about you could go to cell number 1 and you could find yourself another little minor. So it's making Drake look like he's a pedophile because he likes minor kids or minors, you know? So it's all just beefing between them and this and this and that and Sony. And at the end, you can see the flashbacks in the background that says game over. Like he won the whole thing. And then after all that, he brought his ex-girlfriend, what is it?
Serena Williams.
That.
Isn't she a tennis star?
Yes. So that's Drake's ex-girlfriend. So he brought her on stage doing a little like crip walk dance or whatever they do and stuff like that on stage as well too. And it's like,
So he turned the whole thing into just like a conflict, a
right,
beef
that
thing.
that, and then he also had Samuel Jackson up there as Uncle Sam.
Yeah, I mean,
And then he also had the groups in like of America, like the American flag with the red and white and the blue,
Hmm.
saying that America,
I'm glad I only
that
watched a
black
little
people
bit of it.
is America's black backbone. So that's why they lined up like that. That's what one story I heard.
so you think it was racially driven?
Pretty much, yes. Yes, for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of everything
Yeah.
going on, you know, it's 2025 people. They're going to put it out there regardless. It's not what it used to be when you get a little flash of this or a little flash of that.
Yeah.
Not anymore. They're going to put you on blast.
Well, it's not
They're
really
gonna let the whole-
entertainment for everybody anymore.
No, it's not,
Right.
because
because a
only
lot of
half
people
the
didn't
peop-
really even understand what he was saying.
because
Yeah.
half of the people only knew the story of it. Like
Right.
people
Right.
that, like that are listening
tha-
to the song
that's-
don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
And that's
And
what I
it's
was
not going to
trying.
make me go buy their CD.
And that's what I was trying to say earlier is you'd have multiple artists in Super Bowls
Yeah.
past, and it was like a mixture of different music. Like you had
Right.
a rap star doing something with Aerosmith in one of them. I remember years ago. You know, like
Yeah.
that you mixed rock and rap, and like it was a
I mean, it
little
was
more.
a good show. If you,
It was a
Shoulda
better show
they
for
shoulda
everybody.
brought Kid Rock back. I mean,
Oh, speaking of which, I saw a headline that he recently did a show, and he was telling them to. Was he telling them to like cheer or something, or like the crowd wasn't doing what he was saying to do, and supposedly he just walked off stage and said "F
I
y'all."
don't know, but
I don't know if it's true or not.
I heard he was getting in a car. He was seen getting in a car or Uber with Congressman Lauren Boebert.
I heard that. You know,
Yeah. I mean, I don't care. I'm not
Yeah.
really into all that gossip, but sure, why not?
yeah.
They're both patriots.
Somebody
whatever.
brought up Kid Rock, so
Yeah.
that I just ran with it.
Yep. So like I got my video loaded. I think it's the right one. But in February, the Warrior Shield Foundation puts on Warrior Weekend, and it's to benefit other organizations that do everything they can for first responders, like veterans and you know, you name it, for these people. And they've supported different charities over the years. Every year they pick one, I think, to throw their support behind. And in February, there's a whole weekend. There's a ride, there's a gala, there's an auction, there's a gator hunt, and it's all for charity. Check it out. I don't have the website in front of me, but it is in our show description. And I want to play this video before I get carried away. So one more time, check out the Warrior Shield Foundation.
Warrior Shield Foundation is here to unite, honor, and provide support for veterans, first responders, and Gold Star family members. The foundation will enable them to find the help they need through direct assistance or by connecting them with our shared vision network. Using data-driven models, we provide solutions that make a long-lasting difference. We, along with our partners, are dedicated to bringing together like-minded groups and individuals who have committed to making a difference in the lives of our hardworking, everyday heroes. We bridge the gap by connecting warriors or their families with the assistance they deserve and require, such as service dogs, wheelchairs, counseling, scholarships, and team building retreats, to name a few. You can help right now to make a difference for those who have helped and protected us all. Warrior Shield Foundation, selflessly doing for those who need it most.
It's a long way to home, but you won't take the hard road all alone. Just look to your left and look to your right. You were born to fight.
Sorry if that's a little loud. I'll fix it for next week, but definitely check it out. Also, while we're throwing shout outs out there, make sure you check out IndianRiverConnections.com. That's our media company and what we're doing locally, and not just local. We're going to expand that a little bit into little niches. So check out IndianRiverConnections.com. We hope to bring more content to the table or help other content creators and small businesses do their thing. So give that a check out. We do the Board Report weekly, which is a show designed around reporting on local city council or school board meetings, hospital district meetings, boring stuff. But I mean, it's what's costing us money. I mean, we don't have a Doge local going through county spending in these NGOs like CSAC and stuff like that. I don't even know what that is. I don't know if you got a CSAC in your area too, but these are all like nonprofits, non-government organizations that are
Stealing your money.
moving money around. Well, I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but nobody knows. School board meetings. Do you know when the school board meeting is? No, it's like the last Monday of the month. So, and then there's like a municipality every freaking 30 feet. So, and every one of them have a governing board that spends your tax dollars. So, or collects them. So it's important to know them. And some of these meetings can go on for 6 hours. Some of them are about pouring in your school library. And then some of them are about throwing in another 1,000 housing units with only a 2-lane road in the town. So, but people aren't going to sit through 4 or 5 hour meetings for all this fat when they can watch the board report and catch a recap of it. So, and you should do it local. And it's just a matter of coordinating the people who go to these meetings to show up on your StreamYard. So check it out, IndianRiverConnections.com. I would appreciate you to check out the website. Either way, give us your feedback. But yeah, back to Trump and his rhetoric. He talked about
so Mike,
the immigration.
Right. Can I say something
Yeah, go
real
ahead.
quick? I seen somebody posted something and said, is in today's world, you really have to become a free thinker and learn everything on your own and stop listening to people and what others opportunities are, especially if there are no facts behind what they're saying.
You got to
Oh,
question
that
everything.
is
Yeah,
on
you can't
point.
just
You can't-
assume
That
they
is
have
on
the
point,
facts.
Mr. Thomas.
Absolutely. It's never been more important to do your own research than right
Yeah.
now.
But anyways, what the beauty about today is now what's worse about today is you do have video phones and stuff like that, but now there's AI
Right.
that can change shit, but they're combating that. But besides that, Trump's rhetoric, he talked about the Gulf of Mexico. He did it. I mean, you pull up the map on Google and it's Gulf of America. Other map companies are doing it too. It's just a matter of proclamation. It really means nothing other than maps and stuff like that. So I don't really care about that. But he has
I'll honestly probably, whenever I refer to it, I'm probably still going to say the Gulf of Mexico because that's what I've grown up saying.
it'll probably take a generation.
Just like
yeah.
how you still say Twitter,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just it's hard to break it.
Yeah. But his rhetoric I say rhetoric. I don't know if that's derogatory or not. I'm kind of for it. Talking about Canada being the 51st state. Now, I'm not really
how does that
sure.
work? How would that work? Like, explain that to me.
Well, so there's probably a constitutional process, but the people have to be okay with
Right.
being annexed.
Well,
So it's like if Fellsmere, Indian River County were to annex Vero Lake Estates, I'm pretty sure there would have to be a referendum on the next election.
When you mean
next
annex,
ballot.
what do you mean?
Like absorb that land, those barriers. So
Right.
certain municipalities are responsible for certain things like sewer and water.
Right.
Some municipalities for emergency
Right.
services, police departments.
Supposedly, without our aid, Canada can't really pay for itself. So not that we don't go further in debt every year too, but it's believed that they would. Trump says they would be better off financially if
Here,
they
let's
became
hear
the
what Trump's got to
51st
say.
state.
Hold on there.
The Prime Minister said this weekend to a group of Canadian businessmen, he was a private meeting, he said that your wish for Canada to be the 51st state is a, quote, real thing. Is it a real thing?
Yeah, it is. I think Canada would be much better off being a 51st state because we lose $200 billion a year with Canada, and I'm not going to let that happen. It's too much. Why would we do that? I asked Trudeau that question. I said, why would anybody want to lose $200 billion? Why would I, as president, say, I'm going to give you $200 billion a year? You're Canada. You're a different country. But why are we paying $200 billion a year, essentially in subsidy to Canada? Now, if they're a 51st state, I don't mind doing it. The Canadian citizens would have a much lower tax rate. They'd have much better medical and they'd have military protection like nobody can have. You know, you have Russian ships all over the place. You have Chinese ships all over the place. They're sailing all over Canada. They're sailing right next to Greenland. We're not going to let that happen to Greenland. They're sailing all over, and we're going to stop that. But if you're a Canadian and you pay much lower taxes, you have much better military protection. You know, Canada is in default in NATO. I mean, they pay the lowest number of any country for NATO. And it's not fair. You know why they do that? Because they think America is going to protect them automatically. We can't do that anymore. But as a state, it all works great. As another country, I'm not going to do it. Now, what's going to happen if I take away the subsidy? Canada really ceases to become a viable nation.
I hate that scene. Sorry for that.
It all makes sense. I mean, I think probably about the only thing that he said that I somewhat disagree with is that they would have better medical, because at least in Canada you're born with insurance,
right?
Whereas here you got to pay for it. But
it's not insurance though. It's
yeah, but it's medical.
It's state medical,
Yeah.
but it's like as if everybody was on Medicaid,
right? So
which
and
is
you're
horrible.
born with that there. Whereas I mean, here I guess you just go to the ER and let the taxpayers pay for your bill. But I mean, everything made sense. Like, why would we?
Who else is paying for it?
Why would we give them $200 billion every year just so that they can exist? Unless you're going to be our 51st state,
Right.
It
or the next 4 states.
Right. So let's give $200 billion to every country. Well, I mean, we probably almost do.
Yeah, we probably do
under
more,
Biden.
Yeah.
Well, under Biden, that's all they did was give money out.
I don't have the numbers, but we give more money to other countries, and you know, a lot of it went through that USAID, which wasn't U.S. aid.
Right.
People are like, oh
We
no, they're
talked
taking
about that
aid
last
away.
week.
You know,
What was it?
It went to funding NGOs in other countries that would in turn fund. Well, we know now media organizations. So like, you know, popular media organizations in, let's say, Ukraine, where they could buy off the company and they can put in their shills to make certain candidates look bad and get the right people in government, which they've thrown out a few examples. I think El Salvador was one of them, where it took like 5 years for this like the CIA and USAID to completely change the way the public viewed these candidates. And when it came time for election, they elected who they thought were the good people. It was all manipulated.
So it was a way for us to manipulate who was in office in other countries.
Well, not technically us, but the money funneled through. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And then the other things like transgender play in Ireland.
We could get people in office in other countries that are going to play ball and help smuggle taxpayers' money.
And a lot of it was for transgender activities in other countries. Like literally, why are we taking part in breaking down another country's society? Like, it's bad enough we let modern or Metro Europe type craziness, transgender, non-binary bullshit come into our country. Why are we trying to like inject it into other countries with our money? That's your money, our tax money. And this is what I don't get. These congressmen and congresswomen, they're raising all holy hell about this. And it's like, why? Like, how much money were you getting from it? Or who was it giving money to that's giving you some kind of favor in the long run or keeping you in power? I don't trust any of them. There's no good in it. Why? I mean, if our money is going to go for aid, I want to make sure it's going for aid, not for foreign media organizations and transgender activities in Ireland. I really don't give a shit. You know, meanwhile, we got people dying and starving on our streets, and there's very little they're willing to do about that. So,
and veterans that can't get the medical treatment that they need, that, you know,
gave
opioid limbs for this country or who knows what. You
and
know?
then they get hooked on drugs, which, by the way, on our last episode of Board Report, we had George Cullen, who's an addiction survivor, addiction coach, expert. He was on our episode of the Board Report along with Sheila Matthews, I believe her name is, from Able Child, who is also works on the right to consent and stuff like that, as far as pharmaceuticals going into our children's bodies without our knowledge. So that's a good episode to check, whether you're local or not. But yeah, so that they get hooked on these pills and stuff like that, and there's no way out for them. But as far as the medical goes, I don't know if it would be better or not. I mean, here you have the right to go wherever you want, and you can get treatment pretty damn quick compared to what you hear about in Canada, you know. So
Well, it depends what your issue is. Like,
yeah.
you know, when my father had a stroke, he couldn't get the help he needed because didn't have the insurance and the money. So money talks a lot of times.
Yeah,
when it comes to
that's
that.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Gaza. We talked about Gaza Strip, right? Israel and all that on October 7th. What was it?
Hey,
a
there
year
was
ago?
there was a Gaza flag that was somebody ran into the halftime show that was raising the Gaza flag.
Oh
in
yeah.
the halftime show, yeah, and they, well, of course, security came and got them and took them.
Well, that's another place. So Trump talked about we won on the Panama Canal. Marco Rubio went down there, had a little conversation. And they're like, yeah, okay, we're going to work with you. We might say something different, but they're going to work with us. They're not going to give the Chinese the contract. Mexico, I had a clip of the Mexican president. I don't know where it went, but she seemed all giddy about her conversation with Trump and that they're going to work together and hopefully pause these tariffs indefinitely. Trudeau in Canada is sending a bunch of troops to their border to help stop the inflow of fentanyl. He talked about incorporating Canada as the 51st state, Greenland as another option, which I think I'm all for it. Like, I don't care. I don't know about Canada. I mean, strategically, I don't really give a damn about most of it, but the Northern Territory, which they made a new territory, I don't know, 20 years ago. It used to just be the Northern Territories, but they made like a separate area and gave it to the native Inuits or something like that.
Most people,
But
I
that
hear,
vital area, like Trump is talking about,
Right.
submarines and a lot of shipping traffic from Russians and Chinese have access to
most people I hear that have a problem with like Canada becoming a state or Greenland, it's most of it are just traditionalists that say, oh, we're supposed to have 50 states and that's it, you know.
Right.
But says who? I mean,
we
it's
only
not like,
had
it's
we
not
only
like we're
had
talking
49
Yeah.
before Hawaii.
right, and it's not like we're talking about bombing Canada to take their country over and force them. You know, it just makes sense. We're giving them $200 billion a year to keep them afloat. Why?
I don't know. Maybe somebody can look up when the last state was entered into the union. It was either Hawaii or Alaska. I'm
I
pretty
think-
sure it was Hawaii.
Yeah, I almost want to say it was Alaska, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, so it's not like there's nothing in the Constitution saying there's only going to be 50 states. And we got to where we were by annexing,
You're right.
incorporating.
Hawaii in 1959 and Alaska.
So-
Both of them in 1959.
1959.
Yeah, so
Think about
August 21st was
Let's-
Hawaii
right.
and January 3rd of 59 was Alaska.
So what? Less than 75 years ago?
Yeah, not that long ago.
Something like
Well,
that? Yeah, not that long ago.
Hey, I've looked that up. You figure out the math.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's in that area, but that's pretty modern if you ask me.
Yeah. I mean, my grandparents, if they were still alive, you know, they were around to see that, you know. My dad's not far off from being around to have seen that. Well, no, I said 59.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's not even 75 years because
Right.
my dad was born in 57.
Yeah. So you're
So,
probably less than 7
I mean,
years.
he was like 2 years old when it happened, but
69 years.
so he's 60 something years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and not that long ago,
Yeah.
especially since I was born in 79. Makes me feel a little younger, but I wasn't there to see it. So I'm okay with it. Like if it's going to benefit taxpayers, like Greenland. I mean, I think there was like I don't know. The population of Greenland's like nothing.
It's been talked about before.
What do they
with
want to do in
Greenland.
Greenland? What do they want to do there?
Well, we'll annex it and we'll give them
Right.
citazenship like Puerto Ricans.
Right.
You know, they don't have to become a state.
And then we ship all the Democrats there.
Right. Well,
Mike's like,
that's
Wait a
our,
minute, what'd you say?
that's our
I'm
the
joking.
Russian equivalent to Siberia. You know, we
Right.
ship them up there to the igloos. You're in exile. But I don't care. The people there are good people. Same with Canada. They're not bad people. I mean,
Right.
they're
Hey,
kind of misled with their government and their way of
Right.
thinking, but
Yeah. Most of the Canadian people I've met
the air is pretty
through
thin.
the
up
years
there, I
have been
guess.
pretty chill people.
that's good.
Yeah, I mean, they are Canadians, but Gaza. So back to Gaza. Gaza's been a shithole forever. And like Trump said, he's seen it go for the last 50, 60 years. Peace treaty this, bullshit this, and murders and this. And we saw October 7th a year ago where they kidnapped. I don't know the numbers. I won't do it justice, so I'm not even going to pretend. But they started a ceasefire and a peace agreement where they're exchanging hostages and prisoners and stuff like that. So, but they're dragging ass. It's like ones and twos here, and they're in bad shape. Trump described 4 that were released. One ended up dying. The other 3 looked like Holocaust survivors. And he's like, it's horrible. A woman that got released, her hand was shot off, missing half her hand and all her fingers. And he's like, if they don't release all the hostages by Saturday, all hell's going to break loose. So now people are like, oh, we're going to send troops to Gaza, this and that.
Right.
And we don't have to do that. We really just need to support Israel. Whether I'm not advocating for that, but I mean, that's really all it's going to take, because Israel could have put this to bed a long time ago. But the unfortunate thing is a lot of innocent people that are caught up in it are going to get affected, impacted.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably fatally. And this is not a good place to live. It is the worst of the worst places on earth that you could reside in. I mean, I think we heard from somebody with ties to the area that like 93% of the buildings are in disarray
Disrepair.
and rumbled, unrepairable. Trump's talking about it, so he is posing, taking it over.
Right.
And not like just put an intern government there. He's talking about owning Gaza.
Right.
Sending everybody else to other countries. He's working out a deal. He is with the King of Jordan today. He's taking in 2,000 kids immediately that need medical attention. But he's talking to all these other Arab countries who are going to put aside property to build beautiful homes for Palestinians, because he's telling them we're going to take it over.
Who was it he was talking to today that agreed that they're going to take in a lot of the kids?
The King of Jordan.
Yeah.
King Abdullah. He's going to take 2. And Trump didn't know. The king made that announcement during their little press conference, and Trump didn't even know about it.
Yeah, I heard about it today a few hours ago.
Yeah. Here is a part of that interview on Super Bowl Sunday on Gaza.
With Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, you said this.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it.
That caught a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah,
some positive, but even some of your supporters wondered whether that meant U.S. troops were going to have to be going into a dangerous Middle East conflict.
No troops.
So where is it today?
I've been watching 50 years, 60 years. Go in, they occupy, they get slaughtered, everything's terrible, everyone leaves, they go back. This has been going on for forever. Now it's essentially a demolition site. There's practically no building that's livable in the whole Gaza Strip. I say we go in, we knock them all down, we just create some, no more Hamas, there's no Hamas there, there's nobody there. We move them into beautiful areas of the Middle East. I'd like to go to Egypt. They have a lot of land. I'd like to go to Jordan. I'd like to go to others. And we'll build beautiful communities for the 1.9 million people. We'll build beautiful communities, safe communities. Could be 5, 6, could be 2, but we'll build safe communities a little bit away from where they are, where all of this danger is. In the meantime, I would own this. Think of it as a real estate development for the future. It would be a beautiful piece of land.
Would the Palestinians have the right to return?
No, they wouldn't, because they're going to have much better housing, much better. In other words, I'm talking about building a permanent place for them, because if they have to return now, it'll be years before you could ever, it's not habitable. It will be years before it could happen. I'm talking about starting to build, and I think I could make a deal with Jordan. I think I could make a deal with Egypt. We give them billions and billions of dollars a year.
So when you hear the pushback from the Middle East, what do you think?
I don't hear that much pushback. A lot of people thought it was a great idea. Really, a lot of people. And I'm not talking about big money for I just think it will be stabilized if the United States owns the Gaza Strip. If people aren't living in the Gaza Strip, and Hamas isn't there because nobody's there, people aren't there, nobody's going to be there. And later on, it can be developed. You'll give some to Saudi Arabia.
So you're not saying U.S. troops?
No, you don't need no, Israel will watch it. Okay. Because it's right next to Israel.
And what's the time frame? Do you have a time frame?
I would say let it start almost immediately. I would like to get some land from these others. We'll get Saudi Arabia. We'll get some of the great people. We have incredible people in the Middle East. We'll get these people to finance it. It's not a lot of money. You're talking about building 1.8 million houses. That's not a lot of people, you know, relative to other problems in the world. When you look at what's going on in Ukraine, when you look at what's going on in other places, I mean, in Ukraine, they've lost 1.5 million soldiers already between Ukraine and Russia. It's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many places worse to live on earth, even in the most poverty-stricken areas of Africa. I mean, they didn't have buildings to begin with in some of those areas, but they're tribal. But these areas in Palestine, the disease and the death and just the living in war amongst your neighbors, it's not healthy for anybody. And despite the debate, I mean, if they're going to offer them somewhere better to go or a part of the project, you know, like he mentioned, whatever. Yeah. I mean, if it's bring value to those people's lives, and
it's coming to an end for them
future,
anyways. And anybody that's still going to be around, if they are, not going to have a good life.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't really want to get into all that. I mean, people are considering it ethnic cleansing and stuff like that, but it's not. I mean, there's a whole different debate when it comes to
I mean, I understand
Palestine.
I understand where people are coming from. You feel like, okay, well, they're thinking you're putting soldiers on the ground, you're invading a country and you're taking over, and it's people consider it to be evil. I understand where they're coming from, but it's going to improve the lives of these people in the long run.
Yeah, and that's what they need. They don't know what it's like. So hopefully, that's what Trump's saying. Like, they're not going to just move them into refugee camps. They're building places. They want to build somewhere for them now while they rebuild the Gaza Strip to its glory, you know. And that it is prime real estate, fertile land, and
Holy
beautiful
land, right?
Yeah, that whole area.
Yeah.
I mean,
Considered holy land.
Yeah. But like just being on the Mediterranean and travel and tourism, it's a center of the Middle East, and a lot could be done there.
Yeah.
You put your religious stuff aside, it's not a pretty
What
situation.
do you think Israel would how they'd feel about that, Mike?
Well, when he made that first announcement, he was right next to Benjamin Netanyahu,
Right.
and a lot of folks said it was news to Netanyahu, and he is not a fan of that idea that
Of course not.
America owning it.
They want it,
Right.
Because to them it's holy land,
Right.
and it's sacred to them.
Right. So we'll see where this goes. But nothing Trump does or says is by accident.
No, he's very.
He might elaborate a little too much, but even that, I think
Sometimes his
sometimes is
delivery-
part of his
Yeah.
his technique.
Yeah. And whereas, like, I know, Leo says he just can't stand him, and it's a lot of times I see where some people are coming from. The way he delivers things sometimes is sometimes vague, sometimes it's misunderstood.
It's just very blunt. Like
Yeah,
he has
He's very provocative.
Yeah.
Or is that the right word? Like he'll provoke you
Yeah.
into your move. Like he knows what your next move is going to be.
He's
going to provoke it.
He's playing
Right.
chess.
Like he
Right,
knew he knew exactly that limit he can go with Canada and Mexico
Right.
to bring them to the table, to change their tune, and same with these other countries. So we'll see. I mean, it's a crazy world out there.
Yeah, for sure.
He's only got 4 years. I mean, and it's kind of crazy. He's only not even
Well,
been in office 30 days.
Does he, Mike? There could be a loophole.
I mean, the guy's old enough.
I
though.
know.
Like,
He's going to be well into his 80s by the time this term is over.
I mean, if he was younger, I mean, I think it's.
Yeah.
I don't think we should limit our presidential terms to just 2. Maybe they can't be consecutive. Maybe there could be stipulations there. I mean, but then again, I don't have much trust in our electoral process either. So
Right.
I'm
You
kind of
get-
on the fence. on
You
that.
get the wrong
Yeah.
person in office, damn right you're going to be upset if they're there more than 8 years. I mean,
I think there should be
Right.
up to a certain age, and then that's it.
the age thing, yeah.
Yeah, I can't get on board with that because you can see that,
Biden makes you want to say
Trump and
yes to
Biden.
that,
right.
and then Trump. I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad Trump's president right now. I wouldn't. pick anybody else to be doing what I mean, he's the right person, what we need right now
Right.
to battle against, what Biden has brought forward, or at least the people behind Biden.
We need a batter up. We need a batter up bad. Hopefully it's Vance. I don't know. I know millennials have it in like they're starting to favor Vance because he's one of them.
Barron Trump in his 20s will be ready.
Yeah.
No, that's a little too young, but
Well, you have to be 35.
yeah.
So, but I,
A lot of
I'm
things
not
can
all.
happen.
I'm not into dynasties either. But
A lot of things can happen.
yeah, you
Yeah,
never know.
you don't. Yeah, I'm just joking on that, but
No,
People
he's
say
definitely
uh,
becoming
not-
popular quick though.
He
He's
already
he's
put it out
he's
there in the
very
universe.
popular.
well, look at the kid, man.
Yeah,
He's like corn fed and,
and
like built like a brick shit house.
I want to
on
see.
stilts.
I can't. I've never seen him smile or like any kind of like emotion. He's just like the whole time.
His
like,
mama's
Yeah.
got him dialed in. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Like I've never seen him laugh, smile. I mean, I'm sure there's something out there maybe, but I ain't.
I don't
seen
know
it.
how true it is, but I heard a story about there was a girl that he was seeing while he was going to school in New York or something like that.
I
And,
heard something about. Yeah,
when it got too serious or they got too close, Melania like
that's done.
put the old school European mama put an end to that. Like, nope, you got priorities, you got a future. This little girl ain't gonna mess with it,
Another thing that I seen too is that he's always got a body armor or a bullet.
Does he
vest.
really?
Yeah.
Really, I didn't know that.
That's why he sat or sits the way he sits is because Trump
Mm.
makes sure that he is very well protected.
Well, I mean, they shot
Yeah,
him.
It should be.
They shot him, and there's
Don't blame
And then
him
the
at all.
old man, you seen the old man that's always around him?
no.
That's Melania's dad.
Oh yeah,
That's always around Barron. Always around Barron.
yeah. I know.
That's like that's like
her
Barron's-
mom.
That's like
her
Barron's
mom was a big
personal
part of their.
bodyguard.
Yeah, her mom was a big part of their family also,
Yeah.
and it affected Trump
Yeah.
when his mother-in-law died. Like it was his own mom, but it was funny. They're about the same age.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
he was close
Melania's
with the
dad-
mother-in-law. Yeah,
Melania's dad and Trump are like next to
like
the
brothers, but the more you learn about Trump, I don't know.
You right,
he
Leo?
can be an ass.
same. Yeah.
He can be an ass, but he's got a compassionate side to him too. But the
Oh, yeah.
conspiracy theorists say Barron Trump is a time traveler.
Yeah, that's what we heard. That's what I heard too.
And that this all came about because it's tied back through is it Donald Trump's uncle? Donald Trump, I can't remember his name. George Trump, maybe. He worked for either the CIA or the FBI, and after Nikola Tesla passed away, he was the first one to gain access to his apartment, and supposedly there was a pretty meticulous inventory manifest of what he had there, like how many crates of paperwork of all his patents and all that, and like 30% of them were missing. When Trump brought him back or whatnot, only so many were logged into government ownership because he was working for the government, so, and supposedly there's work in there, they said, for that Nikola Tesla was working on time travel. And then they tie it in with some book about Barron Trump, and I don't know. It gets pretty deep. Way beyond our level to do an episode on that, but maybe Leo can try sometime. Yeah.
All I know is you need a flux capacitor or something. right?
That's back to that's if you're gonna use a DeLorean,
Oh, okay.
because the dang thing's made of stainless steel. But yeah, so that's that. I don't really have anything else, man. I was we talked about Gaza, we talked about Canada, the immigration thing. We're the community is healing a little bit from that, but tensions are still high. And we talked about outside influences trying to organize a community, and I don't think it looks good on the community, but who am I to say, because I'm not a part of it,
Yeah.
But then you have people that are a part of that community who get shunned on or get, they just get shunned where they don't want to talk, like they won't speak up.
Yeah,
Leo,
that's-
I'm
Yeah.
not
I'm
you
a
know.
big advocate of freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So you want to, you want to protest and all that. That's fine. I mean, that's your right. Even if you're not a citizen, if you're here, freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I would be
gotta
quick to call out white trash, and I do
yeah. I mean,
plenty.
let people speak their mind, and then everybody else can just decide what they think of it. That's your, your right.
Yeah, that's all I got. That was kind of in response to a statement earlier. But anyways, you guys got anything else?
No.
No, nothing.
Nothing I can think of. Sure, we're forgetting a topic of something that happened this week. We always we always get off air and then we're like, shit, we should have talked about this.
Yeah, I like cutting it off a little early because coming up next is Alexandra 360, and she's got a good show always. Check out the Patriot Prayer Network, thepatriotprayer.com and anywhereconnections.com, where you can find all of our content and our other avenues that we're working on. Support small businesses and stuff like that, and independent journalists. So that's one thing we're going to start featuring on Anywhere with Connections is some local independents. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for all the good work here on the Patriot Prayer Network for other shows like Two Guys in One Coop and Raising Cain with Nate Kane, Uranium One Whistleblower, the Jersey Shore podcast, Patriot Confederation, the Based Mother.
Yes.
I'm sure I'm missing a couple shows. Eddie's done a great job at lining up a good lineup of Patriots and brought them together to stream on the Rumble and on the X channel. So make sure you check that out. Give everybody a like and a follow. If you don't follow us on Twitter, it's at tothepoint.com, DOTCOM. You see it at the bottom of your screen. And, welcome to free speech.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what this network's all about, free speech.
Yeah, and we're glad for their support too. We're all patriots. We all do a little kind of a different show, and we all offer a different take on things. I always say here on To The Point, we don't break news. We comment on it, and whether our opinion's worth anything to you or not, we're going to shovel it out there. So we appreciate you tuning in. If you're watching, make sure you hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell button so you get notified when we go live or when the network goes live, and share with your friends. If you follow us on Facebook, make sure you share that page with your friends too. We're seriously shadow banned on Facebook at To The Point Podcast. It's ridiculous. And I've saw the numbers of followers fluctuate quite a bit. So I don't know what's going on over there, but I thought things would change, but still we'll make a post and tag everybody in it, and a couple hundred might see it. So we'll see. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow, like I said.
Yep. Give us a like, give us a share.
And you'll find Leo's socials out there too. So
for sure.
Anyways, I'm going to quit rambling, and we will see you guys next week for episode 106.
Yep. We'll see you guys. Thank you.
All right.
Say the break to shout, make America great, tell them what it's about. Facts over feelings, cutting through the noise, fighting woke mobs and the cancel toys. They spew their lies, they spreading hate. Let's BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truce to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night. Fight the woke mob, cancel their crying. Truth on the mic while they keep lying. They wanna cancel, they wanna control, but we got the truth, we breaking the mold. Speak your mind, don't let them bind. Words cut through sharper than a sword of kind. Senses just raw, no filter to stop. Voices rise up from the bottom to top.